So exciting news. I just got my funds back from my PML that I did. I sent out $14,000 for about 30 days and the funds actually came back a couple days early. So I got a return of $3,000 on top of the 14 I lent out, and I got a transfer for 17,000 today. So that's my first PML deal out of the way, and we're looking to figure out how to do a lot more of those. But I certainly learned a lot. Originally we were gonna do cross collateral, but I found out that the borrower wanted to do cross collateral with their personal residence, and we had to change the way things were negotiated because of usury laws. Okay, so what I wanted to go over here is just kind of some of the details that had to do with the deal that I did. Like I mentioned before, it was a $14,000 PML. And what we did is we lent it out for a period of 30 days. That didn't look very good, does it? So after 30 days, I was to get 17,000 back, which is a return of $3,000. This is pretty cool, but in the course of learning about how everything works and through negotiations, I learned some things that are also involved with the cost of doing business. And so I wanted to go over those a little bit. See, I paid $500 to a top tier transaction coordinator. And then I also paid, I think it was around $409 to use Plastique, which allowed me to liquidate the business credit card that I had and put the $14,000 on the business credit card, so I wasn't using my own funds. I also paid $400 to a real estate attorney to have her draft the loan documents for everything. Now, I was told by the real estate attorney that this cost is usually passed on to the borrower. That's standard practice. But during the course of our negotiations, I told him that I was willing to pay for that because the reason I was doing this deal was mostly for gaining the experience. It wasn't so much about the return. And so those are the major expenses that I had with this deal. So that puts it at something like negative 13, I think. So I actually ended up only earning about 1,700, but that's okay. We're getting experience right now. That's what the whole point of doing the deal was for. So I'm happy with that. It's still $1,700 more than I had before. So there we go. The other thing that I wanted to kind of go over was the fact that originally we wanted to do the cross collateral, and what happened is when we found out that he wanted to use his personal residence, we decided to change the way we were doing that. I feel like I spelt that wrong. The guys will have to let me know if that's correct spelling of collateral. Looks wrong to me. Anyway, the thing what we ended up doing instead was I ended up getting a second position lien on the property, but I also had 50% ownership of the property until my loan gets paid back. And so if I hadn't been paid back, not only would I have had second lien on the mortgage, but I would also had the ability to get appreciation, depreciation, etc. for owning that property. And I felt like that was justified. The other thing is that after taking the safety semester, there were a couple things that came up during my vetting process that I think you would have maybe looked at as red flags. One of those was being that this was my borrower's first deal, and that it was in a place that was kind of far away from where I'm at. I was able to verify his company, who he was, and the fact that he had his construction company that would be able to bring in funds if things didn't go well. But ultimately, I decided to do the deal and take the risk anyway for two reasons. One, I wanted the experience. I guess three reasons. The second one is that as someone who's just starting out, I also understand that people are reluctant to do business with people that are just doing their first deal. And so I was kind of in the same boat as he was. And so that kind of gave me some understanding of where he was at. And then the third thing was I realized that if I ultimately lost $14,000, I was actually okay with paying that much to gain the experience. Not that I wanted to, but I realized that that was an acceptable loss if it meant that I could start to understand the process better. Because I, like many other people, have to do things myself in order to finally start grasping it. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the deal. The other thing that I'd like to mention is that the borrower I had is actually looking for $60K. He's going to be doing this as a fix and flip now. He was originally going to rent it, but he's changed his mind on what he wants to do with it. He's offering 20% return over 120 days. And since he paid me back 2 days early, I feel pretty good about recommending him as a potential person to lend to. However, I want to leave that with the caveat that you really do need to do your own due diligence yourself. So make sure that you're doing your due diligence and making sure that everything's good on your end.
Epilogue.
I wanted to end with one last thought and some thanks to other people. The thought is that none of us can do this by ourselves. We don't live in a vacuum. Everybody exists in relationship to everything else, whether those relationships are strong or not. And I just wanted to give thanks to the people that helped me get this done. First of all, I wanted to thank Matthew Lopez for being the guy that connected me to the borrower and allowing me to get the opportunity to do this deal. I wanted to also thank Victoria McDonald, who did an awesome job with the transaction coordination for this. And I'd like to thank Sherry Harris for drafting the loan documents and throwing out some questions that I wasn't asking at the time. I also like to thank both Frank Leon for giving me some advice on how things work, and Jay Holder for doing the exact same thing. I'd also like to thank everyone else in the Gator and the Subto communities that has kind of helped me along the way. I look forward to working with the rest of you guys as we continue to move forward, and the future looks bright. Really excited. So thanks again. Appreciate everyone. Have a good day now.